What's up everyone, Vu of NVU Films back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about this little rig that I have built out for my Sony FX-3. Although I film all types of stuff short of OnlyFans, those of you who subscribe to me know that I film a lot of weddings, which means you also know that at weddings I generally like to use handheld footage and footage on gimbal. But the past 4 or 5 weddings now, I have not used my gimbal at all. I have used this rig and only this rig. And I apologize for this rod right here pointing at my mouth looking like a straight up elite tube doucher. But my house here has a bunch of reverb due to the hardwood floors, no carpeting, the whole 9 yards. So I'm trying to keep the audio as clean as possible, which is why I'm using this Kamika VM40, talking not that loudly, recorded internally into the small little microphone, 32-bit float. So hopefully the audio doesn't clip at all, which it shouldn't. This rig here is a mixture of the Camera Foundry Cineback, which was created by YouTube legend Caleb Pike. Caleb Pike, for whatever reason, reached out to me and said he would like to send me a Cineback to try out. Not to create a video or anything like that. He just wanted me to try out. Smart guy, because he knows that if I create a video about the Cineback and that he is associated with my tube doucher trash ass in any way, it will destroy his reputation. Well, anyways, I decided to do a review on it, even though he didn't ask for it. But the reason why is because I actually love the Cineback. I love what he created here, not because he sent it to me, but I had no intention of ever trying out a rig like this. I didn't even know about a rig like this. When I took a look at it, I just thought it looked cool as shit. And I mean, it looks sick, right? And I said, why not? You know, let's see what it's all about. So as the kids say, I'm going to keep it a buck. I would not recommend anything on my channel unless I think it's good, it's worth it, and that I actually use it myself. The reason why I waited until I filmed like over 5 weddings with this rig before I talked about it on my YouTube channel was because I was still working out how I wanted to rig it, how I wanted the setup to be. And obviously I wanted to be sure that this is something that I would be comfortable with using the whole entire day. Not touching a gimbal, not doing anything. All I was using was this rig. So first of all, you need a cage for whatever camera that you're using. In my case, I'm using a Sony FX-3, and on Camera Foundry's website, Caleb only sells this kit for the Sony FX-3 if you're using a tilt cage or a small rig cage, okay? For the first week or so, I was using the tilt cage, and there were some things that was making it difficult for me to rig and all that stuff with how I was rigging it up in terms of spacing, in terms of being able to quick release the camera out of the Cineback rig itself. So NEEWER reached out to me to review some lights, and I'm not reviewing those lights today, but I asked them if I could try out their camera cage for the FX-3 along with handles and all that stuff. And thankfully NEEWER sent me some handles, cage for the FX-3, also a cage for the ZV-E1, which I'll show you later. But that is what I'm using now. All because these rigs are advertised to only be used with a Tilta or small rig. It doesn't mean it cannot be used with other cages. In this case, the NEEWER cage for the FX-3. You just have to add some spacers or other little knick-knack items for it to work. In my case, I didn't even follow Caleb's directions on how to rig this up to the camera. I wanted to make it a quick release system, because if I followed Caleb's directions on how to rig up this camera, I would be truly stuck to it the entire time. And you know, for the most part, I didn't need it to be quick release because again, I used it, you know, for like 8 hours of a wedding day. But I just want to be able to, just in case. Because I use Falcam F38 quick release plates on everything, the tripods that I use on my gimbal, and I wanted to use it here as well, I would have to install the Falcam quick release base onto the bottom plate of the Cineback use my Falcam quick release plate on the camera, and because it lifts the camera higher, obviously it would not rig properly with the rest of the Cineback. So I need to be able to space it out at the top and also be able to quick release it. So as you can see here, there's a little nook for your FX-3 camera screen. And because of the Falcam quick release base and plate lifts it up, I had to add 2 additional spacers or 2 additional small plates to make sure everything evens out. I will include links in the description for these plates just in case you're interested in doing the same thing I did to install a quick release plate, specifically the Falcam quick release plates, onto your Cineback rig. If you're not using a Falcam quick release, you're going to have to play around with other spacers to get yours to work. But you could get it to work. You're going to just have to try out multiple different little plates here and there to offset either side. Because it was raised up and I wanted to install another quick release plate on the top of the Sony FX-3. In this case, I used a quick release system from Condor Blue at the top of my camera, attached to the bottom of the Cineback's top plate. And in order to get that to fit properly and even, I had to put a spacer in between the V-mount battery box of the Cineback and the top plate. So it's pretty much just a matter of putting additional offsetting plates with your rig to get it to work. The main benefits of the Cineback is obviously the fact that you can attach a V-mount battery and also have 4 D-taps coming out and 4 D-taps available for you to power various things just out of this one V-mount battery. The other benefit is obviously rigging. You could attach all different kinds of stuff on the Cineback cheese plate. But most importantly, if you like to shoot handheld and you're shooting handheld with only the FX-3 by itself with no additional weight, it's just like the FX-3 and the lens, it's going to be a little bit too lightweight to get like that nice handheld footage, because obviously when you have weight, it holds the camera down, and so it eliminates a lot of like the bounciness of handheld footage, and you get really stable handheld footage this way. I get really good gimbal-like footage with the Cineback when I'm walking backwards and somewhat forward. Obviously, there's gonna be shots I can't get like 360 footage and all that stuff where I'm kind of moving side to side with the Cineback compared to a gimbal, but that's really the only shot I am sacrificing. But with a handheld rig like this, I gain a lot of shots that I couldn't get with the gimbal, because I'm able to point and shoot so quickly with this rig. Just pointing and shooting, I'm able to get a lot of random detail shots, random interaction and candid shots during a wedding day that I didn't with the gimbal because it was too slow. I couldn't aim, I couldn't aim the tilt axis fast enough to like point down or up or whatever. It just wasn't as quickly as me with this handheld would be able to move around. So yes, I can't do a lot of like these quote unquote epic 360 shots that I could do with gimbal, but sacrificing that, I do gain a ton of other footage throughout the entire wedding day. So I really appreciate that. So I found myself really appreciating that I'm able to film differently and learn a different way to capture footage to tell a story versus relying on drastic movements all the time. I still believe in using gimbals. I still believe in handheld, all that stuff. It's just a slightly different way of shooting, and I think it's important for everyone to try out and experience different things, because that is how you grow as a filmmaker or whatever it is that you're into. What I have here in terms of the setup is obviously I have the NEEWER Cage for the FX-3. Great cage. If you're looking for a cage for your FX-3, I highly recommend this NEEWER Cage. It's great quality and it's really lightweight, excellent build, all of that stuff. If you get the NEEWER Cage, you won't regret it. That's all I got to say about it. Always, again, I keep it a buck. It's solid. I'm using a NATO rail type of head for my monitor, which is a Portkeys LH7P. I like the Portkeys LH7P due to its very thin and lightweight body, 7-inch big screen, but the screen has very good screen to body ratio. So it actually it doesn't seem that much bigger than even like a 5-inch screen. It's almost the same size as a 5-inch screen. It's just a 7-inch screen because it takes up more of the body than where you have a lot more borders on like typical 5-inch monitors. And also what I appreciate about the Portkeys LH7P is the fact that you could do touch tracking on the screen wirelessly. So I think it's the only monitor that could do full touch tracking for the FX-3 on the market. I know there's a new Shinobi Mark II from Atomos, but I don't think their touch tracking is, ready for mainstream quite yet. I have this newer top handle. You could use it as a side handle as well. It's NATO attachment. You could actually twist this handle in whatever direction you like, basically, and be able to hold it however you feel like. I found it to be most comfortable just standard like this. I did try it holding the handle more like this because I was able to lift the rig up this way a lot easier, but holding it like that for the entire day was really hurting my wrists. This is easier for my wrist, and if I need to do it that way occasionally, I could always hold the handle like this and it'll work out just fine. I also have the newer side handle right here with the Sennheiser MK200 attached because it's a small mic and it, in my opinion, has really good sound quality for just run and gun shooting, and it pretty much does the job, and it's tiny, so I'm happy about that. The only downside here is obviously the hot shoe of the FX-3 is forever blocked. That's gone. Caleb also sent me the kit that enables you to use the top handle that comes with the FX-3 with all the XLR and all that stuff, and you could use it that way too. So now you have like access to all those audio ports and everything that comes with. I don't use it. I currently don't have a benefit to use that right now, so I'm not using that, but that is an option for you if you're interested in Cineback. You would also buy the kit to be able to use it with the FX-3 Sony top handle with all the XLR outputs for audio. So even more importantly is the battery that I'm using. It's a V-mount battery. This is one from Ulanzi. It's called the Ulanzi Chocolate. I don't know why they name it that way, but that's what it's named. It's a 99 watt-hour battery, and it will get me through an entire wedding day, especially if I turn it off once in a while. Because I pretty much leave the system on the entire time, the battery will run out probably almost to the end of the night. So the reception, there might be like an hour left in the reception, and I might have to switch out the V mount, but that's because like I'm leaving everything on the whole day. I never turn off the camera, I never turn off the monitor. But if I turn off the power to this when I'm not using it, it'll definitely last the entire day for a wedding. So yeah, excellent V mount battery, very inexpensive. It's actually you could find it for only $80 sometimes on Amazon when it's on sale. $80 for a 99 watt hour, tiny, lightweight, quality V-mount battery with actually 2 D-taps. So actually this system I have like 6 D-taps, USB-C, the whole 9 yards, everything you need out of a V-mount battery, in my opinion, just for $80, 80 to $100. So this is the rig I've been using for the past like month and a half or so on all of my wedding films, and I highly recommend it. I always keep things 100% on this channel. There's gonna be some of you who's gonna be like, well, I found this thing, I saw this rig on AliExpress or Temu or whatever for cheaper. First of all, I have no problem with AliExpress and Temu. I buy stuff from there all the time, but I'm very selective of what I buy from there. Caleb Pike spent a lot of time, designing and building out this rig and, testing it out and make sure everything is legit before he put it out there to market. And your camera, your monitor, whatever you're using, your expensive gear is being powered by a V-mount battery, but it goes through the Cineback's little like power box here. So you have an on and off switch so that when you don't want any power being delivered from your battery anywhere, you just turn it off and everything is off. There's no drainage coming from the battery. Once you turn it on, power will be available to all 4 of these D-taps. That power is being pushed directly into your expensive camera. In this case, this is like a $3,800 camera, $300 monitor, whatever. And I know and I trust Caleb's Cineback to not fry my camera, okay? So if you want to save, I don't know what the savings are. Let's just say, for example, $50 buying this from AliExpress or whatever. Good luck to you. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but it could also fry the shit out of your camera. I don't know what the hell you're gonna do about that. So I would buy the real thing directly from Camera Foundry, get it from Caleb Pike, at least simply for the fact that he is a legend in the YouTube space, providing us with content, entertainment, and knowledge for God knows how long. So have some respect for that man and what he created. And if you're interested in Cineback, just buy it directly from him. And if not for him, at least for your own camera safety. Because I'm all about saving money, but I'm also all about not being an idiot. And I'm not going to buy something that can potentially fry my camera, like an egg roll at your local Chinese food restaurant. I got time for that. So just really quickly, I'm going to just show you how I can quickly release my camera out of this rig based on how I set it up. So firstly, I got to unplug everything from my camera, take off the side handle, and keep in mind I'm taking my time. I can probably do this quicker if I sped up myself instead of talking, but for this example here, I'm taking my time. So right there, I had unplugged everything from my FX-3. That took a good part of 5 seconds. I unlatched the quick release of, I unlatched the Condor Blue quick release at the top. So before I release the camera, just quick correction here. I'm actually not using a Falcam F38 base. I'm using a Arca Swiss base because the Falcam quick release plates does fit in these Arca Swiss squeeze plates. But to move forward, I just unlatch the top of my Condor Blue quick release at the top with a quick unlatch. I twist to release the squeeze on the Arca plate, and now I can pull out the camera. And by pull out, I mean just, the same way you would to avoid having kids, that you don't need. You just pull the camera out and you should be good to go. And now the camera is out, it's good, you won't have any more children. So there it is. Now I can put this on a gimbal, put it on a tripod, whatever it is I want to do, it's nicely, available, ready to go. And when I want to put it back, I just simply slide it back in, starting at the bottom. Tighten the Arca plate and then latching the top, and now it's stuck and it's not going anywhere. And yeah, it took me a little bit of time to put it back in because I had to aim and make sure both quick releases were aligned properly. But it's much quicker than having to unscrew like 3 different screws and stuff just to get your camera back on. Obviously, I'm gonna have to put the side handle on and plug in everything again. But yeah, it's a quick release. So that is my quick overview of the rig I've been using, and yeah, highly recommend everything that I mentioned in this video. Obviously, the NEEWER Cage, the NEEWER handles, Cineback, battery, monitor, everything here is what I've been using. And again, would not recommend this stuff if I don't actually like it and I don't actually think it's good. So that is it, guys. Till next time, lighten up.
Hey man, what trad camera is that?
It's a Sony FX-3.
Oh my god, that trad camera, it's 4-year-old.
This camera does 4K 60, 4K 120 full frame, 10-bit 422, ProRes RAW, external. It does everything I need it to do.
You need to buy a real cinema camera.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I like the compact, versatile form factor, and if I wanted to, I could rig it out and make it bigger.
Let me show you. You need to buy the new Blackmagic Pixel or the new Canon C80 because it have the best color shine.
Did you just recently get sponsored?
No man, I'm not sponsored by Blackmagic or Canon.
No, I'm talking about sponsorship for United States immigration, because clearly you don't understand English when I told you could rig out your Sony FX-3 with something like the Camera Foundry Cineback to make it look more quote-unquote professional.
That trad, it take too long to take out.
You mean like this quick release? Simply by installing a Condor Blue and Arca Swiss quick release, with some additional spacers.
Now it take too long to rig.
Not that hard, my guy.
I will buy your how to be trad unprofessional video guide masterclass for only $29.99.